wraps on new cars is so wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, I wrapped my RX-8 because the thing's fucking 20 years old and the paint was a little rough, and it was like, hey, might as well just wrap it.
Yeah, but like Becca wants to wrap her M4, and it's like, dude, that's Austin yellow.
I know.
That's like the color. Yeah. That's like the color of M4 that you want to get.
So it's like, yeah. So
I'm
it's
like, what color do you want to paint or wrap it? She's like, pink.
Well,
welcome back to the MartiniWorks podcast. It is season 17, episode 46. We're in a new location. We're actually at the MartiniWorks warehouse. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that we have a very wide selection.
It's just a different angle of your garage.
it's like how many different sets can we
also
make
season one.
Yeah. Okay. No, we have to evolve. Eventually, we got to get to season 2. We're on like 28 episodes
maybe,
so far.
Maybe when we finish the garage,
which is never going to happen.
Exactly.
We are so happy that you guys are hearing us or listening to us or watching the MartiniWorks podcast. Thank you so much for the support, which means it's time. We need to talk about something that Dakota is so excited about. When he came out of the womb, his first words were, Volkswagen, Volkswagen.
Not true.
And there's a new Volkswagen coming out onto the market. Dakota, let's talk about it.
I'm not that excited about it because it's the beginning of the end. It's the last Volkswagen GTI that's going to be manual, which also in turn is going to be the last Golf R that's manual. It sounds like the GTI is going to be going electric in the future. And Volkswagen made an official statement saying, yo, this is the GTI. If you want a manual one, get this one because this is it. They were like super blunt about it. They're like, listen, like we know, like we get it. Like GTI, it's sports car, it's a manual. So we made you one, but then we're done. Okay. Yeah, they're like, here's our little gift. Like it and shut the fuck up. This is it. No, but it's kind of neat. They did a little bit of an homage to the 337, which was the Mark IV variant. That was a special edition. Yep. So you can get the plaid seats. It will come with the golf ball shifter, which is always neat. Cool. It comes with a gloss black roof, 19-inch wheels, some stuff like that. It just has a few little extra goodies like Volkswagen does with it.
This is a big deal because when I look back at one of the most almost diverse automotive communities that modify their cars, that drive their cars, that have what seems to be almost like an environment around a car. Like there's people that just like cars, right? But then you think, when I think of old Volkswagen, I think of like H2O, I think of SOWO, I think like the European car shows, the vibes in the mountains, like the mood, the Kodak mood is what I would call it. And Volkswagen has always been huge in the aftermarket scene. They've always supported it. They've always sponsored huge events. They've always done these wild things for the Volkswagen community. And to see them, essentially saying sayonara to the manual transmission, that had to have been a really tough decision for them. Yeah. But that also marks a really big moment for like the whole European car scene.
Right, because if there was anyone that was like really holding on to the manual transmission yet, it was like the European.
Yeah. Like they were the last ones.
Yeah, because in Europe, manual is a lot more prominent than America. However, I mean, you got to think too. GTIs, Golf Rs, things like that have been offered in automatic also for
that's
years.
True.
So it's not like super, but I think a lot of other manufacturers will follow suit.
Yeah. Right. There's been some cool people trying to like. I remember coming across an Adam LZ video with the Supra where it's an automatic Supra that can like clutch kick like a manual. Did you ever see that?
I did. It's like it's weird.
And I'm not about it, right? I'm not trying, but you can see that people are already trying to solve what is inevitably going to be an automatic only.
Even though Toyota was like, here's a manual.
Yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. But it's kind of sad to hear. I was reading another article from Reddit that was talking about there's almost like triple digit growth in EVs pushing into the market for 2024. And with EVs comes the decline of manual transmissions and everything else. So it's like that kind of, it's kind of a bummer.
Before the podcast, I asked Giles this. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think, like how you're talking about with the Supra, do you think any manufacturer is going to try to develop a manual electric car? Obviously, it'll be gimmicky. It won't really work. But do you think someone will try to?
There wasn't it was it the Hyundai like prototype thing that like had like a shiftable?
So that was the 86 is their project, and it was a hydrogen powered one, and then they also made one with an H pattern, a full 6-speed.
Yeah.
And it was at I think it was Tokyo Auto Salon.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about it where it was like it was very simulated, like the experience would be very similar.
Similar.
Yeah, simulated, similar.
Yeah,
yeah, it was still just kind of. It's just at that point, you're just doing it for the gimmick of it, right? You're just like, oh, sorry, we took it away. Here it is, just to make you feel a little better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can kind of see where they're going. I liked that Toyota made a 6-speed manual electric vehicle for Tokyo Auto Salon. I thought that was sick, and it was even cooler that it was in an 86. Like that's neat. And to that point, I also agree that it can feel a little gimmicky, but at the same point, the 430 is an automatic transmission by definition. That doesn't mean I let it shift itself. I use the flappy paddles all the time, and it's a little gimmicky, but I love it. I don't care. I use the little flappy paddles all the time. You know,
You had to use the flappy paddles.
No, you don't have to. When you put that in winter mode, which it does have, it will automatically shift everything for you, and it just destroys your clutch.
I was gonna
What
say
is winter
every time.
mode?
Yeah,
I
who's
don't
driving
know.
that
I've
shit
tried.
in the winter?
I tried driving that thing just here in my little driveway, and it couldn't make it back.
Part of it was
that.
you have fucking 14-inch wide.
Sport Cup 2s.
Yeah.
That was a bad
Those
idea.
aren't gonna move in the snow at all.
Yeah.
But I am curious, like, what else does winter mode change on the car?
Nothing. It just shifts it earlier and a couple other things. Lowers the torque, I think. But one thing I will say that I think is neat. You got to say it. You got to give credit where credit is due.
All right, I'm
gonna say it because I'm 29, feeling like I'm 45. The domestic muscle car market is still providing manual transmissions in what seems to be a dying general manual transmission world.
What, Ford?
Ford is, Chevy is, GM was.
Well,
Jet
sure,
was.
but I mean, Toyota released a bunch of manuals. Honda released a bunch of manuals.
Yeah,
That really
Isn't Honda going? I thought Honda was going away from manual transmissions. Are they not?
Since when?
I thought I heard
Well,
just
I mean,
like
the Type R just came out. That's manual.
it's still manual.
But
All right,
like,
never mind.
I don't know if it's changing in the future. I can't remember.
I thought I had heard that they were a
might
lot
be.
of those Japanese companies were shifting over into the automatic world as well.
of.
Oh, so never mind. I take it all back.
One thing,
Volkswagen's
too-
the odd one out.
Yeah, about the GTI. I'm curious to your thoughts on this. The special edition. What did I say? 388, 380.
337,
No, that was the Mark IV.
335.
Anyways, it's gonna have an MSRP of $32K, which I didn't think was too bad for a special edition GTI. However, there's an addition to the special edition.
always-
and it can go up to like $40K.
Dealers are the original microtransactions of the world.
Well, yeah, but this isn't a dealer option. This is
Straight from Volkswagen.
a Volkswagen option. So I think there's things to make it like it pulls some stuff from the Golf R that will be available in the GTI. But man, it's
40K
hard
for
for me
a
to spend
GTI?
40K on a GTI. I feel
Plus,
like you get a lot of car
you
for that.
know there's going to be a markup on that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a special edition. The last edition, you know.
The
like,
last
yeah,
manual.
It's going to be.
But who in the Volkswagen community? This is going to be really weird to say out loud. Who in the Volkswagen community that's big into Volkswagens is going to spend that amount of money, or even has
Collectors.
that amount of money to spend? That's really the only thing I can
collectors,
think
someone
of.
who's like liked Volkswagen all their life,
Yeah.
they're retired, they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they're
oh,
like
I could
50.
get a new car.
They're like 50
you know?
years
Yeah.
old. There nobody in the range of I think younger actual modifiers are going to buy that.
None
car.
of us are buying it.
No, absolutely not.
No. It's someone who's gonna buy. They're not gonna modify it. They're gonna keep it as is. 'cause it's a
Jay
special
Leno's
edition.
looking at it
That's
like
how I-
licking his lips.
Exactly. That's how I kind of look at like all of like these like special edition cars that are coming out, like the Trento GR86, like that kind of stuff. Like
I already forgot about that car.
I think
though.
that one's cool though. Like that one's a
it is
little bit
cool. It
easier,
is cool.
accessible to
yeah,
get.
yeah. And it's just like, is anyone gonna like change it though, or is it gonna be like, are they gonna modify it, or are they just gonna go after like one that's not marked up another 10K?
Yeah.
And modify that one. And it's just like one of those things, like I feel like those cars will always be that way. Like no one's gonna
Yeah.
touch those cars and modify them.
Yeah, and it's like, would you even want to? Right? That's like the whole point of
right.
having the special
Yeah.
edition is
Yeah.
that it's special.
So
It
that's
comes
why-
with the wheels. It
so it's
comes
like-
with the tires.
It's funny that like the market that they like the Trento one specifically, like that is like us, right?
Yeah.
That was made for, and it's like we're not necessarily buying that. Like that's gonna be, I would say,
that's cool, but that's gonna sit in a museum. That's not gonna sit out there for us. It was kind of where we were getting into the conversation. I don't know if you guys saw, but Scott over at Koenig did a podcast talking about how well factories have done in terms of like developing special edition cars and how good they've gone in making special edition wheels and some OEM factory wheels on how good they're looking, like straight out of the gate. You almost start to feel bad.
Stepping up.
Yeah, you almost start to feel bad about putting worse wheels on it. We've had this issue with the Z.
The thing that really opens my eyes to OEM wheels is for whatever reason, I can't see how good OEM wheels look on the car they came on, but the second they go on a car that they didn't come on, I'm like, whoa,
those are sick.
Those look wild.
It's probably because like they're a little bit wider than what came on that car, so it's like a little more aggressive. But yeah, I mean, like even like going back to like the special editions, like the Supra and then like the GR Corolla that we saw.
Yeah,
you know, like the wheels that were coming on those special edition ones, they look damn good.
Yeah, they were one-piece forged
they're like
wheels.
BBS or raised, like one-piece forged wheels. It's like, you know, you're going to modify. It's like, well, you're gonna want to get something better.
Yeah, the same or better.
It's kind of tough to outdo that. You know, it's like it's tough because I know you're running into this. It's like, man, anything I want to put on this, it's gonna feel almost like a downgrade. Like I'm adding weight. They're not as strong. They're, you know, it's like it's just super weird.
That was the thing we noticed when we were moving around the garage in our immense garage transformation, which if you want to check out behind us, check it out.
There it is.
But like the M4 comp wheels, the BBS, they're super nice. They're hella concave. They look fantastic. And then you go and you're like, okay, well, I want to replace it. And it's like, well, don't get rotary forged. Don't get low pressure cast.
You gotta
get
one
gram
piece
lights.
forged.
And it's like, okay, I guess I'm spending $4,000 on another set of BBS wheels, except these ones have a BBS logo and those ones have a BMW logo.
All right, I have a little bit of trivia.
All right.
I'm just curious what you guys think. Okay. GTI 380, last manual. What do you think the horsepower and torque will be? Let's see who can get closer.
Out of the box?
Gels or Alex out of the box?
And this is just the GTI.
Out of the box.
285.
Out of the box.
I was going to say
Is that
like
horsepower?
Horsepower.
And what torque?
270.
I was going to say 260 and like 280.
You guys are damn close.
Yeah.
Little less. 241 horse.
Oh, okay.
And 273 pounds of torque.
That's
Volkswagen
doing the old reliable trick.
Yeah, I'd like to see like
Well,
the
you tune
fucking
it.
actual
rips.
Yeah,
It'll be
they
a
always
fun car.
underplay their numbers.
That was one we had where the hell is that car? Did Becca drive it?
The Z?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she stole it.
Okay, so I had a Z.
It's
and
gone.
I was talking to Dan at Vivid Racing because they have their tune for it now. And we're thinking about getting it for the car. And I was like, modestly, what are you guys bumping it up to? He's like, modestly? 100. Right out of the box.
100 horsepower?
100 horsepower, right out of the box. And I'm like,
That's it?
holy shit. Well, that's with nothing else. There's no intake, there's no exhaust.
I'm fucking with you.
Oh, sorry.
An increase of 100 horsepower.
That's
Those
a lot.
cars make 100 horsepower.
Yeah, that's double that. My car twice as fast.
It's also twice as fast as the Super Scooter GT2 brought to you by Segway.
My car is not faster than that. I will say that.
Well, it is.
Well,
No, it is. It's twice as fast.
We settled that the RX-8 won.
Yeah.
Well,
You ran a what, 16?
in a quarter mile. I don't know about the 60 foot.
Did you get the time slips?
I do have all the time slips.
Okay.
Mine are back at my house.
Okay. Well, that's okay. We don't need it right now, but I want to look at that
I
because
think you got me.
I remember at the
did.
beginning I was like, oh,
I did.
Because I had to like pass you. It's not like you were next to me. Like I had to like.
The best part, so if you guys don't know, we did the video, it's over on Alex Martini, where I drag race all of my cars. And Dakota races the Supra, Gels races the RX-8. And to make things fair, I raced the RX-8 with the scooter that Segway sent me.
I think the RX-8 and the Gloria would have been close.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true. And so the worst part about it is it's obviously a leisure. You just kind of go off the gate and you're ready to rock and roll. But there's a clip in the video. You guys have to go check it out on the main channel. But there's a point in the video where Gels is actively looking behind him as he's going like 80 miles an hour to make sure I'm not catching up on the scooter. The scooter tops out at 45 miles an hour. Once the homie's at the 80,
I was
he's
going
gone.
like 80, so like to be fair.
I hit 46 on the scooter yesterday, just saying. So it tops out at 46.
I say downhill, I bet we get to 50.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
All right.
There's a limiter on there. I bet we could take it off.
Yeah, so with that being said, a word from our sponsor. We got it. A word from our sponsor over Continental Tire. Josh Peeler has been a homie for us for quite a while, and we've been able to run Continental tires on quite a few vehicles. I'm testing them out on the Gloria right now in the Volk GTCs. Dakota, you got a set as well?
I truly love Continental. I'm not saying this just because they're a sponsor, but because I actually can get behind it. I have a Continental tattoo on my arm. If you're listening, you can hear me, but you might not be able to see it. Trust me, it's there. Yeah, I've been running the Extreme Contact Sport 02s. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, and we've been able to work with them for a while now. If you guys didn't know, Continental Tire has a whole bunch of really good stuff going on for them. They've got an incredible warranty, like the mileage warranty on the tires is incredible. They got a bunch of like road hazard protection services that come with the tires, and an absolutely excellent tire and value that you're getting. So whether you're wanting to buy something for the track or for the street or for winter, Continental definitely has got you covered, which has been absolutely awesome. And they have some really easy like nomenclature designs on the tires too, which makes it easy for you to understand at what life is the tire at, so that you can make sure that you're always driving safely. So Continental Tire, thank you so much for the support and coming on for today's sponsor.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So what I wanted to talk about was the fact that our cars have not changed up a whole lot in a minute. What are our plans
That's
here?
messed up.
For maybe the Supra. Otherwise, I have my super clean summer car, my Volkswagen Jetta. Gels has the RX-8. That thing he built it in like a week, and then it just has always looked like that.
To be honest,
you changed the color. You changed the color.
I painted shit.
you're right.
It. I took the wing off. I put side skirts on.
Oh, you did add side skirts.
I'm getting
Right.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Gels has modded his car more than me and
Sorry, real life ain't like
Actually,
TikTok.
no, because my stuff's
You
changed
did-
too.
you
I
did
did the
the hood.
GT3 hood,
Yeah.
different
The
wheels.
Yeah,
There's
you're
only
right.
one person slacking.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that is Dakota. Dakota,
just threw
you've
on new
been
wheels last
slacking.
week.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, but I need to figure something out because I'm torn. I have the Fly One Motorsport lip, and I absolutely love how it looks. It looks so fucking good on the car, but it sits so fucking
sit
low
really
that
low.
like I can't drive anywhere other than just like in town, and even then I'm destroying it. And it was a very expensive lip, and I know to get a replacement, not only will it be expensive, but it also is an insane wait time.
Yeah.
So it's like I haven't even been driving around with it because it's like I knew we were going to the track and stuff like
You've
that.
had that off since Riverside.
yeah.
Yeah, I took it off.
Took it off for Riverside. It's like, wow, I can drive it.
Yeah.
And
Look
then
at
just
this
has
speed
not-
bump.
He put it, literally popped it back
even
on for the
exaggerating.
show, and then immediately took it back
But
off.
the thing was, I loved how it looked at the show. I look
I
at those
know, it
photos
looks
of
so
it at
good.
the show. I'm like, man,
You need,
Yeah.
it looks stupid right now.
yeah. If what sucks is like because you had the side skirts for it too, but I remember we went to put
Those-
the front of this like where it, like met the front wheel well,
Yeah.
it would have been like that far off the ground. I'm
Literally.
like, you dip once and
You-
those things
and-
are
Out of my
flying.
driveway, I would have
Yeah.
ripped them
And
off.
you do have like I will say without it getting to your head, like you have one of the tightest static fitment setups on the cars that you do build. So it's like it's not on air suspension.
Yeah.
It's on Fortunatos. So when you put all that stuff on, you just dramatically decrease where you can. And it's not like
looks so
yeah, but it's not like I always talk to a lot of like static guys. They're like, yeah, fucking static ball out, you know, the fucking scraping on the ground, thrashing fenders and stuff. And it's
It's
like, okay,
different when it's coming from like a fucking 2006 Passat.
yeah.
yeah,
30 degrees
versus
of camber to like
a 530 horsepower
a
Supra.
$3,000 carbon fiber lip kit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And that reasonably, that's probably what I should do is I should lift the car up, raise it a little bit, and then put the lip back on. And
Yeah, but then you're sacrificing the entire aesthetic of the whole car for one part.
well, yes and no, because I have side skirts in my garage that I still need to
you
put on
think-
from Street Arrow, and then
Oh, Street
I
Arrow,
have
that's right, I forgot
rear
about
that. Oh, yeah.
spats that I also put on, but I've ripped those off multiple times.
The spats look good too.
They do. They add to it. It creates a look. So it's like if I
Batmobile.
can, and I truly think, like if I just raise it a bit, it'll look fine. You won't even really notice it.
So if you had to call it, you know, looking for like what are the proposed next steps to do that?
Raise the car, put the lip on, give it a test. Because when I think about, I drove for over a year with the lip on. I really didn't have a lot of issues.
Yeah,
I think
you
I popped it off once, maybe.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and then since then, I would imagine it became easier to pop off.
Right.
just 'cause the tape wasn't.
So what I'm thinking though is because I was able to drive pretty decent. That I don't think I need to raise it much. I think just a little bit will do it, and it'll be fine. Then I can pop it back on and be happy.
I just feel like you're living in a small amount of denial.
Or I could sell the lip and then just buy a different thinner. They have a lot thinner lip kits and stuff that a lot of people run. But that's the problem is like that's the one like really unique part of my car. Not a lot of people run that setup, probably for the reasons I'm explaining right now. So it's nice. It makes it look different than everyone else's.
And like the lip that you do have, what was it? Who
Fly One Motorsports.
Fly One. So Fly One did a really good job because I've seen this style come out more often than not, where it's on the Z. I see it on the Street Hunters kit, like TJ. Don't get me wrong, but like there's this new style of front lip where from OEM you've got like this protruding triangle. And then they put like another lip, right? So it's like a double triangle. And then there's like a third one that
like
comes out.
Multiple step
and the like the jaw of the car is like this, you know? And I just think it looks
It's got a hell of an underbite.
Yeah, I think it looks really bad. Like I don't like how much people are designing these front lips to have this huge front chunk section. And your car has that, but it's really good. It's like the perfect level of that. Like it matches the car super well. It doesn't stick out that bad. Like all of it is great, and it like actually mounts and fits to the car really.
It makes
good.
Yeah,
I like how it makes like the front like center area. It looks like a Bugatti.
No Bugatti. Okay. All right, Gels,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Yeah, Giles, what's next for you in the RX-8? I know we were talking a little bit before the podcast too. And
I'm looking at 4 because we got Gatlinburg coming up. So in typical
G-Bird.
fashion, wait until like the month before to actually do shit to my car.
Sorry, my life.
So the rear of the car is lacking a little bit. Like the car is very like front heavy. It seems like a common trend with like all my cars.
You just have the exhaust pretty much back there, right?
So like the aftermarket exhaust, but like as far as you got the over fenders. I'm glad I put the side skirts on because now I can put my Cybon front lip on. So like from the front to like the rear quarters looks really good and balanced, and I like that. But then you get to the back and it's pretty much stock, like taking the wing off and stuff like that. So I did find some like kind of like rear spats, like where the exhaust is, those like little like covers, like the triangle covers, those pop out and down, and you can get a replacement that adds like it'll replace that like triangle cover, but then it adds like a lower spat, so almost like a lower skirt. So I think I'm gonna get those just to kind of balance out the rear. I really, really, really want to get my hands on an R Magic wing for the rear.
Dude, I love you showed me that wing and it looks so fucking sick.
It's like it looks like an FD wing where like it's almost similar to like a Street Hunter wing, but like it comes up on the sides. It's got the carbon fiber, or not the carbon fiber, the fiberglass like side pieces, and then to find like a carbon blade one, would be awesome. Like that would be my dream for that.
Yep.
They're just really hard to find and they're really expensive, and they're all in Japan.
They look so sick.
They look so good. Other than that, I'm torn on switching up the wheels because like the fucking like the fitment is good and it looks good, and like just finding wheels in that spec are really hard. Like it's like a 10.5 negative 30 in the rear, and that's like I was looking at like SSR, and like the lowest they went with a 10.5 was like negative like 12. So like you'd have to run a spacer. And it's like I don't want to run a spacer.
Yeah, you don't want to run spacers on a lipped negative offset wheel.
Yeah, it's like if I'm spending fucking $4
not a
grand
truck
on
guy,
a set
bud.
of wheels, I want them to fit right. So it's like just I'm keeping my options open for wheels, but I mean I'm happy with it right now. But other than that, probably
it's such a good looking car.
Thank you. Figure out I never really like settled with the trunk setup in there either. Story of I think a lot of people with air suspension's life. So trying to figure out maybe something to get more, like you can actually open it and actually like, oh wow, there's an air suspension setup, not just a tank on a fucking MDF board and
lines, good idea.
Lines running everywhere.
Do a little bit of a trunk setup, I think would go a long way.
Yeah,
but, dude, if you could get that R Magic wing and then
I want it so bad.
Rear diffuser or the spats. Yeah, I think that would literally make
it change the whole car. Right? I have seen a lot of cars on it because the company that makes the over fender kits, unfortunately, they are located in Russia. So like getting the stuff for that a little difficult in the current situation of the world. But they did make like a nice like lip spoiler for the rear too that would look good. But,
I was just about to say, for the time being, it'll probably be a minute to get the R Magic wing. You could just run a duckbill, and even if like not carbon, like painted it black.
The whole problem is too like the Big Country Labs wing that I had on there destroyed the fucking trunk so much. and there's holes in it and stuff like that, and it's dented, and so it's like, do I spend the money to have someone maybe like fix the trunk, or do I try to source
I feel like it
different
can't
one?
be that hard. There's so many. I'm not throwing shade here, but there's so many like
blown up, trashed RX-8s.
that
I know.
How hard would
Just
it be to get a black trunk?
Yeah.
But a black one that hasn't have hole drills in it or holes drilled in it yet, because a lot of them did come with like a little mid-rise spoiler.
Yeah. Are those OEM taillights?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those
so-
are the Series 1 taillights.
I think something that would be neat, as I've seen a lot of people start to import some other designed like RX-8, RX-7 headlight taillight setups because they're slightly different colorways, or they come without the chrome. It's just red and black.
I don't mind the S1 ones. Mike actually, he was at like a Goodwill and he found like a set of aftermarket RX-8 taillights. He's like, I just bought these because they were like $20 and they were at a Goodwill, and I thought that was crazy. So if you want them, here they are. And it's like the wiring looks really weird. So I don't like, they look really good. But I haven't run into the issue with, there's RX-8 owners know this. There's always one taillight that gets moisture in it. I haven't had that issue yet.
Yeah, so keep it.
So you're like,
untouchable.
I'm gonna leave it until that happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't mind the series. A lot of people switch them out for like the Series 2 taillights, but I don't mind the Series 1.
No, I like it. It looks good.
That, and then I'm gonna definitely try to get possibly some new brakes put on before GAT, and then while I'm in there, I want to like maybe like just paint the calipers black, like clean up the dust shields, like get rid of like any like crusty stuff in there, because you don't want that.
Yeah, that's fair. Looks good.
Yeah, just little things.
By the way, like if you're watching the podcast and you see us all like just keep looking,
cars
'cause
are
our
like
cars
right
are
there.
right on the other side of us, so that's what we're looking at. But all right, Alex, you have
You're next. Which one
a
you
ton
want
of
to talk
cars
about?
and a ton of projects going on, so I guess just pick and choose.
Yeah, so the 430 is next up to bat. So I actually had somebody come over to help me scan the frunk. So if you guys don't know, we have a GT3 hood on the car. It's carbon Kevlar. It's very light,
Legit GT3 hood.
but it's also not meant to be on the street. So we have to just kind of fix some things on how that's set up, and then I want to make the actual ducting functional. So we had somebody come over, he scanned the entire frunk for me. We actually have a piece getting mocked up right now that's getting 3D printed.
Shit.
We're gonna mock it up, so then once we have that set up, we're gonna cut a hole in the floor of it and make it a functional, I guess, I don't know if you call it like a duct, I guess.
Well, the point is downforce on the front, right?
Yeah,
The air
exactly.
comes through and-
To bring it down, and then I think just to kind of finish up the front to connect it to the side and the back is I'm gonna get some really small canards that came on the GT3 F430 cars that will come up just before that venting system. I want to finish up the air suspension because once we have that new ducting system in there, I'm going to tidy all that up.
You got to redo all that, don't you?
Yeah, because we're going to take the AccuAir out and put the airlift in.
Thank God.
And finalize that. So that's what's going on with that car. Outside of that, working with some local businesses to get the stereo like working and operating, because I only have like one speaker that works. And then outside of that, probably just finish up some of the cooling things that I'm trying to fix. I actually have two, like they're called modules over there that I want to get wired into the car. One of them helps with the diff lock in the rear at low speeds with wide wheels. The other one helps with monitoring longevity of certain components on the car. So it takes all the data that's getting fed to the ECU, puts it into kind of like a bypass ECU, and then I can take that, plug it into my computer, tells me everything about the car, and then I know if something's about to blow up, which is actually really important, because if you can fix the Ferrari before it blows up, it's actually not that expensive. It's after things fail that everything's catastrophic. I have Valtronics sending me new exhaust manifolds for it, because we're still running the stock manifolds, and if those go bad, that's a catastrophic failure. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah. So that's what we got going on with that car.
You say the RX-8 is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, it's like, it's so weird.
Basically the same car.
Literally identical. So we got that going on. The Gloria is going to stay in its beautiful, perfect, lovely
love the Gloria.
state. I love that car so freaking much.
Not perfect.
No, but it's mine.
No, are you gonna fix
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about that?
where you
I made a
and
mistake.
the trunk?
Yeah, wabi
You
sabi.
tried to jack up the car from the inside.
I'm gonna get that fixed in October,
Well,
and
do
pretty much
people know
before
what that is?
storage. Yeah, so if you guys, no, I think we talked
I think
about
we
it.
talked about it.
Yeah, my first
Maybe
drift
in a
day came
video,
around the very last roundabout coming home, and I forgot that I put the jack in wrong in the trunk, so it rolled to the side of my car as I was going around the roundabout and popped, like hit and dented the car from the inside.
Inside is wild.
So the good news is there's a little bit of, it's not good news, but like no cars from Japan are ever perfect, and Nissan is no stranger to having metal that can sometimes, like to rust pretty quick. And so I noticed that there's just a little bit coming up on the trunk. So I'm just gonna have Ray take the whole thing, respray the whole thing, bring it all down, clean it up, and be done with it.
When life gets you lemons, then you gotta paint your car.
Yes. And then the S2000, we already know what's going on with that. We just got
so much.
So if you guys don't know, I got the S2000 back. It's currently got 5 out of the 7 panels on. Okay. But we are going to make this kit work. We will make this kit work. I'm gonna figure out how to do it myself if I fucking have to.
It's an APR issue, right?
APR S2 GT. I like the
But like that was an issue from them? Or is it like
the
kit looks awesome?
Is the car tweaked?
Except for so nothing fits.
It is clapped car.
Yeah, so
right side or driver's side looks decent. Passenger side need Jesus.
So I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus in any way. It could be a little bit of the car. It could also be a little bit of the kit. It could be the fact that Ray didn't work on it continuously. I mean, like, it could be anybody's fault. It doesn't. I think the thing for me is the kit is having a struggle bus.
Because you said it like the one panel was like warped, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like the passenger fender panel was like kinked in the middle. So you can mount everything, but you put so much pressure in that area where it's like,
well, then it's gonna crack.
And that's what Ray was concerned about is, if you're bombing down, a straight at Road America and it's flexing, it's gonna crack if you don't fix that. So we need to fix that. Like the side skirts, they have this like flange that you're supposed to bolt up to. But the thing is that doesn't match the underside of the car. You pretty much have like a 1/4 inch gap between the pinch weld and the side skirts. So if you were to lift the car,
that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
So I might just cut it. I don't know yet. We're gonna see how that goes. And then the Z is just in progress.
That's why I was so grateful that my over-fender kit fit well. Like I was a little sketched.
This is a nightmare. I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do.
Yeah, I was a little
all over the place.
I was a little sketched out buying a $1,000 wide body kit from Russia.
Yeah,
but honestly, it turned out good.
No, it looks
and then
good.
like you were like, I got an APR like 7-piece wide body kit for the S2000. Dude, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and then it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it does look really good.
It looks great. It's just I can't believe the fitment issue.
They came together.
It just needs to come together. And the thing is too, I do believe sometimes I made this mistake. This is why I'm not.
No, it's not you. No, it's not your fault.
This is why I'm not a huge fan of wide bodies in particular because I think there's this there's this perception that if you spend more money on a wide body kit, you get a better quality kit.
That's what I always thought.
And it's not true because it's not saying APR is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But Ray was the same guy that worked on the Liberty Walk wide body Aventador.
Yep.
That kit was like 45 G's all in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then Ray spent that same amount of money in labor getting the kit to fit because it didn't come with brackets. It didn't come with mounting hardware. It didn't come with reinforcement material. It didn't come with anything.
Insane.
All these companies are like, well, we told you to have a professional install it.
Yeah, so they give you just like the bits. They give you the pieces, but there's
God, that is insane.
But there's nothing
it's that
to
expensive.
It's what in the RC world we
and
like
it's
to
the
call,
same material. It's the same material.
Yeah, in the RC world we like to call that a builder's kit, where it's like, yeah, the pieces are here, but you're gonna have to do a lot of work yourself.
Yeah, and I think sometimes there's this misconception that you get a kit, I'll just throw it on and you're good to go. And I think when you're just doing it for show, you can hide a lot of it because if it doesn't fit or if the fitment's too close, you just shave it, But if you want to use the kit and you want it to be able to handle flexing and turning and stopping and pressure and all that sort of stuff, it does take more time.
Those things go through hell. Like, I mean, it's a lot of stress that gets put on those things.
Yeah, so that's what we got going on there. The Nissan's going to have wheels, aftermarket wheels, tires, suspension, intake, tune, exhaust.
For GAT?
For GAT.
Oh, shit.
It's time crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stock right now, and GAT's in, I don't know if you know, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
God, that's crazy. It's coming up that fast.
So
We've got the weekend project.
Guess, we're going to be some busy boys in the next couple of weeks.
Busy boys. So that's what's going on with the cars.
I'm excited for the Z.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it. I'm really excited because I do want to compare it to the Supra. Like, mod to mod, it'll be probably baselined with yours because you have the same thing, right? Like an intake, tune, exhaust, suspension, wheels, and tires. Yeah, so it'd be cool to compare the two. Maybe take it to US Air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it to WIR.
I would love to compare because, like I said before, I was so torn between getting the Z or the Supra. So it's like I'm curious to see if I regret it or if I'm like, nah, I'm cool with it. I think I could go either way on it. I think they're both great cars.
1,030 miles in, I can say I really do like the Z. It is a nice car. The torque curve's super fun. It feels fun. It's a little loosey-goosey in the suspension and tire bit, but like I think that's expected almost.
Well, it's stock.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to get it lowered on the BC BRs that BC Racing
My
sent
question
us.
is though, if you're, I forget the saying. Is it rose-colored glasses?
Rose-colored glasses.
Yeah. Are you seeing the car with that? Because
would if I
just driven projects for the last 20 years.
I would, but like
this car just works. So you're like, yeah, this is a phenomenal car.
But I don't care.
I get in it. It drives.
Like, I'm not comparing it to if it works. I'm comparing it to
I think
how it feels. Like,
well, okay.
But like the Gloria feels awesome. Like when I'm drifting it around and sliding it around and revving it out, like
that car was a quarter of the price.
Yeah, when I drive the Ferrari and it's not giving me any issues, that's the thing's a fucking blast.
Fun,
you know,
is that?
At the drag strip.
Oh, we spent 40 minutes trying to air it up.
Yeah, then we fixed the issue. Then we were good to go.
No, it did good. It did good. I've been impressed that like every time you've taken this car to the track, there wasn't. Yeah, I shouldn't say stuff like that, but there hasn't been catastrophic failure and. Everyone that like, dude, I'll never forget Lars' face getting out of that car. And like,
holy shit!
Like that's what this does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you guys want to watch the full video, it actually goes up today. I think. Oh shit! What time?
Well, like when we're filming this. No,
oh god. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
It's like I missed the upload.
I just panicked. My heart rate
Story of
just
our
elevated,
fucking life.
dude. No, I'm excited, and I know it is with rose-colored glasses a little bit
I think
for
it's
sure.
Rose tinted.
Rose tinted, whatever.
I don't know
rose,
what the saying is.
Penne gold rose copper wheels.
Rose glass.
Oh my god! I almost spilled that.
Kicking your little.
No, I'm just thinking if like
I have driven it to other cars. Like I drove Lars's M2 competition multiple times.
You got the M4.
So are you
drove
saying
the
do you
M4
like
a
the
lot.
Z more than the M4 and the M2?
I would say I like if I were to put them in a tier.
Yeah. You've drove the Supra too.
Yeah, I
guess
think
those are all BMWs. So
if I could put it in a list, I like Becca's M4 comp the most out of all of them because I like the GT feel of the car. It's a little bit heavier. It's a little bit longer.
What's the MSRP on that?
I have no idea.
M4? I don't know.
When it was new, like 116.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Just like the new ones
Oh
are. Yeah.
fuck! No, I mean, it's hard to compare.
But then
the Z to that. Then
give it a year. It's down to like 80, 70.
Yeah, the M2 comp was 60, 62, 65, I think is.
Okay, so that's a little more comparable.
Yeah,
To
closer.
to the M2 or like.
And I like the M2, but I like the Nissan's interior more than BMW's interior.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
Wait, say again. You like Nissan's interior more than the BMW?
Specifically the infotainment system, yeah. I don't like the infotainment on BMWs that much.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't
like
used the Z's. So
I like
don't
the
know.
safety features of BMW way more than Nissan's. 10 out of 10. The reverse camera, the angles, all that stuff, super high quality. When I turn the Nissan one on, it's like, Jesus Christ, am I in a Pathfinder?
Yeah, I just always felt like the Nissan one just out of the box kind of felt a little outdated.
Yeah, the seats
But if it
and
works,
stuff like that, yeah. But I mostly like everything I use
Yeah.
is I like. I would say the Supra still takes the cake, I think, is like the best value car you can get.
value car.
What?
You say it's like in the cheap section. Yeah, since that one's so fucking cheap and inexpensive, that's a pretty good car.
Discount
I
aisle.
still think the best one you could probably buy is a BMW 335i without a burble tune.
Oh,
Good job.
like our buddy Mario?
Yeah, like
Good job, Mario.
All right, let's take a break.
Yeah,
when
and
we come back.
Okay, let's look into the future a little bit.
What, Phil the Future?
I remember that show.
Yeah.
All right, what are we
Anyway,
talking about
It
in
was
the
actually
future?
pretty good. I watched it quite a
they
bit.
ever
Focusing
finish
to
that
the
show?
future of what? The car scene is what we're
Yeah,
talking
what do we
about.
think
Oh, boy, here we go.
2024
Here we
car
go,
scene
here
will
we
look
go.
like? I'm curious what you guys think for trends, if anything will come back, if anything will go away, what direction you're seeing cars go.
I know
Got
this.
this.
Porsches.
I got this. It's, no, you're not ready
No,
for
I
this.
want one.
You're not ready for this.
Okay,
It's going to be
hurry up.
exactly the fucking same.
You think nothing's going to change at all?
I don't see any big pivotal moment coming until like the newer cars that have been released, like the big, like everything that the hype has been around, have been out through a couple owners and are more affordable. When that happens, when the Supras drop in price, when the Z's drop in price, arguably like the GR86s, I know a lot of people have been picking those up. They're been everywhere. But like when those become like 20, 30K, that's when I think we're going to see like the car scene, you know, like the more obtainable stuff really start to blow up, because we're going to see those platforms not just, oh, wow, there was a Nissan Z at the show. There was like, oh, we got a whole line of Nissan
like
Z's
the Z
again,
section.
you know, so that then
and
it's
when
going
the
to
cars
drive,
are
it's going to drive that like creativity to be different and that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So I think it'll be a few years before we see that. But
That's a good point. I like that take.
as far as like little trends and styles and stuff, I have to think about it. So you guys got any?
I mean, I'm always going to like TikTok these days
Yeah.
to see where things seem to be moving.
That's
I would
dangerous.
say the good thing that I've seen on my social media is I have seen the younger audience get more into driving and motorsport earlier than I think I even got into, which has been really cool to watch. I've seen more people trying to make it out to autocross and making content about them doing their first autocross or things like that. I've seen a lot of people supporting motorsport content creators way more than ever before. Like 4 years ago, if you're doing motorsport, you get like 16 views because nobody gave a shit. Now people actually like watching that stuff, which is cool.
That is very true.
But I am seeing on the bad side of that, a lot of content creators, and I'm not trying to like poke fun at one particularly, but like they make these 35-part series doing like the most boring videos possible to stretch them out to get views. And I've seen like there's a guy, and he's really nice, but like he bought this Mercedes, you know, S550 or something like that, or like it's like a coupe S550, something like that.
Sure.
V8, whatever.
Okay.
And he's like transforming my budget car into a supercar. And the whole thing was on the premise of like he was going to take this budget Mercedes and he was going to turn it into a supercar killer or supercar.
Hell yeah.
And like there's 12 parts of the wrap. There was 12 parts of him changing the chrome stuff to black. And then when he got to the end for the performance part, he pretty much just made a video and was like, yeah, so I'm not doing that because there's nothing to modify and it's too expensive. So he made, and again, I'm not trying to dog on the guy, but like he made like a 2-3 month series.
He had a great backup plan.
Yeah, like a 2-3 month series about building this like budget supercar, and people were really enthralled by it. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing any of that." And
So he
it's
just wrapped it and did a chrome delete.
and so a lot of people were like, "Yeah, like dude, you told us you were doing this," and then you know, I don't like that part of what seems to be going on, which is like I must pump out content, I must post a video every day. A lot of the enthusiasts on TikTok are a little bit younger. They're a little bit newer to the scene. So they're doing more surface level stuff and they're like stretching it out as much as they can.
I mean,
and so you're seeing people go with like wraps number 1, wheels number 2.
yeah, it's
and then
crazy.
going to a different car.
It is crazy to see that, you know, like a wrap has become like the number one. Like I get a new car and it's like, oh yeah, I already got the wrap planned. I already got, you know, like that's the first modification.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, dude. Like that's, you don't like the color of your car.
That was like, I think her name is like Entran, and then Annie. Both right now are doing like 30-40 series on wrapping their car, and like she's the first girl I mentioned. She's got like a G80, like in that dark green, that beautiful.
I love that green color.
And she wrapped it. It was like the first thing she did. She wrapped it like a magenta, like a purplish pink, I think it was.
What?
And she did a really good job. I like her a lot. She does awesome content. Really appreciate what she's doing. But I was like, why would you wrap that color?
It's tough
No.
because
I love
it's
that
tough
color so
because
much.
we all love that color so much.
Color is perfect.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's wraps on new cars is so wild to me.
Yeah.
Like I wrapped my RX-8 because the thing's fucking 20 years old and the paint was a little rough, and it was like, hey, you know, might as well just wrap it.
Yeah, but like Becca wants to wrap her M4, and it's like, dude, that's Austin yellow.
I know.
That's like the color. That's like the color of M4 that you want to get.
So it's like, yeah. So
I'm
it's
like, what color do you want to paint or wrap it? She's like, pink.
Well, I think it's
you
just,
called it too. You literally
I
called
think
it.
the idea of it is that when you do that, I mean, your car is now more unique because there's not
101.
another
I totally
one
get it. I
of
totally
that
understand.
color.
It's just like me personally, it's like getting like a brand new car, right? Like, oh man, I just went and bought like a new Z or something like, or I went and bought like a G80.
Yeah.
And it's like wrapping it like would terrify me.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
I don't know.
I told Becca, I was like, if we're ever going to wrap your car pink, we're just wrapping both the cars pink at that point.
What? Now you're on that shit?
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Just kidding.
someone already did it.
I don't know.
There's already pink Ferrari.
It's not.
there's
It's
already
not. It's not a
pink
bad
Ferrari.
thing to wrap. I think what I would see in the 2024, I guess, like trend.
I mean, I know this is like more of like the last couple years, but like the OE plus stuff has become
I think
more common. I would think.
I think you're going to see a huge jump back into air suspension. I think you're going to see
you think
everybody.
so?
I think you're going to see everybody and your mother go back into air suspension.
Why?
Yeah, that's interesting take.
I think because when I look at what people are modifying now, they're trying to do the biggest, flashiest things that have the greatest change in the car for like the least amount of price, like wrap, right?
Sure.
And I do think like the
Wraps are
next
expensive?
biggest thing you can do to a car is you can take it from its like semi-lowered coilover stand and slam it on its nuts.
All right, hear me out. I have one.
All right.
The only thing that's holding back from it, I think it really exploding is cost, but I think it will be more popular at shows. Is people getting into paint?
See, I don't think
Paint.
so.
And not in the ways that you think, maybe like painting a car, but like painting the roof and taking some of that aesthetic from the lowrider
like
scene.
maybe like wrapping something. There
Josh
like,
Freeman did that
Exactly,
with his Chaser,
it
and that
looks-
looks
there
sick.
now
Like
other
the-
cars
the-
have started
the lace
trickling in
and
that
stuff like
doing
that.
that.
Well-
I will say Josh Freeman's probably one of the first people, and that guy, dude. Shout out to that guy. He's always ahead of his cars. Look fucking
Yes.
amazing. I don't know what kind of brain that dude has, but seriously, his
I
cars
just
are
want
some
a
of the
piece of it. I just want a little bit of that.
His
Like
RX-7 looks
like-
fucking insane.
Yeah.
The
I'm
STI
trying to think
insane,
of,
but
there's a Richie Contreras. He also has a very good look on car scenes and style and stuff like that because he did something kind of similar to his I think he had a Laurel. Was it a Laurel or Chaser? But all of his cars, same thing.
Well, see, and like
immaculate.
this is what I'm thinking is, I think the car scene and modifications. I shouldn't say car scene. The car show scene.
Yeah,
its modifications are always a lot of the times inspired by another part of the car scene and then manipulating it into a way to kind of fit the
works.
car show aesthetic, which works well. Like you'll see, I mean, it all stemmed from like track cars and having a wider aggressive stance.
Yeah,
and
and then
things
you
like
saw
that.
like the big
and
wings
vents
and
and
the
big wings.
big
Exactly. And that
splitters.
trickled into the
Yep.
car scene and stuff like that. Then you seen like VIP builds.
Yep.
And then I think a lot of that within last year and the previous year, there's been cars that take VIP things and put them into their build, but it's not necessarily a VIP build.
Yeah.
So I think one untapped area is the lowrider scene, and it's one of the most dope scenes.
See, I think that I disagree though because I think for that very reason is why people don't jump into it.
Well,
the
it's
low riding scene is like the pinstriping scene and the engraving scene. It's just 2, 3, 4 steps above what I think a lot of people are willing to
Listen,
commit
I'm
to.
not saying people are going to do it well or compared to the lowrider
Sure.
scene. I'm saying people are going to take inspiration.
Yeah.
Sure,
from
sure,
that.
sure.
And I see pinstriping coming. I see the roofs being painted,
Yeah.
or maybe engine bays. Like we've seen the art on the VIP car. I guess that's not really lowrider, but seeing that art painted on the valve cover and
hand-painted.
stuff. Exactly.
Like the craftsmanship.
I see that
coming
stuff really
Yeah,
coming
that's
into
true.
2024.
That could. I mean, yeah. I usually see the pinstriping cars and the engraving that people have done on some of those cars, and it takes them years.
Exactly. No, I'm
Literally
not
years.
saying like
For like
a lowrider car.
for like a chrome taillight piece,
Right.
like a very
see,
small.
people aren't going to do that.
No.
100% will not do that.
No.
But people will be inspired and they will think, how can I do this on my own or do something that looks similar?
Like
then
Dakota said, I don't think anyone's going to be out there doing, a full candy.
No, hell
paint
no.
with,
That shit's so expensive.
With like the metal flames. Like they're not going to be doing that. But like even when we went down to VIR for the show with Driver, there was that like chase, and it was like
With the
it was
ghosted-
so
yes.
subtle.
I forgot about that.
It was so subtle. It was a white chaser.
Yeah.
And on the trunk, it was like almost like the clear coat was masked. It was like a gold
it was like ghosted
tinted
in.
mirror and the right light hit it, and you saw like this very intricate like pinstripe pattern. But it was so subtle, and it's like that shit was.
Oh,
so
I loved it.
fucking
It was so
cool.
good. That guy worked for Fortnite.
That's right, he did.
Yeah. He was the nicest dude ever.
Yeah, I was very clueless of that.
I thought you were fucking with me for them, but no, he totally did.
straight up
He
worked
had
for
like a
friends.
little epic
Yeah,
games.
that was crazy.
Anyways, but yeah, that car was fun. See, that's the type of stuff I see that coming more and more. And again, it'll be essence of like those other cars. It won't be a full paint job. That shit's too crizy. No, the lowrider scene untouchable, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the amount of work that goes into
in
that
their
car is
own
work and money. Those cars, I have such a respect for them, and getting to see some close up at like SEMA, like my jaw hit the floor because it's like, dude, it's so clean that you can't eat off of it because you don't want
when you're
anything to
literally
touch it.
parking on top of a mirror
yeah.
that you bring to show like the frame rails that are custom etched. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say, what's one theme that you guys are going to try and incorporate in your 2024
Ooh, I got that.
builds? Because I have mine too. But what are you going to try to incorporate as maybe a style or a theme?
Okay, so hear me out. I don't know necessarily how I'm going to do it yet, but I have been so infatuated with time attack cars.
Okay.
And I love the styling so much. So I don't know how I would incorporate that yet. And I've done like stance track looking cars in the past, and I think it's done well for me. Like my Focus, kind of had the vents and the wing and things like that kind of brought that. I would love to incorporate that, and I've definitely gone for a more functional setup on my car. So I think because time attack cars obviously are 100% functional, I think there's ways to incorporate that, and I'd like to tie that in.
What are you going to do? What do you think, Joseph?
well, it's a little bit of two things. Because like I have a vision with like the RX-8, and then I have a vision with like the 240 as well. I've found and this is like the most expensive route to go, but just falling in love with like the genuine like 90s like Japanese parts.
Yep.
Yeah, like more and more. Like we met down in when we were in Seattle. That S13.
Yes.
And just looking at like
Nikolov.
Yeah. And like looking at like the intake that was on there, or like just even like the body kit, it was like from like a certain time, like that kind of stuff, like just hit a certain part of my brain. And I was like, God damn.
I did a short where I was asking guys questions, and his car popped up for like, I'm not even kidding you, 2 seconds. And it was the headlight, the front fender, and that was it. And in that 2 seconds, I had like 2 comments out of the 160 of them, and it was, oh my God, do you know what taillights or do you know what headlights those are? Because they were authentic,
like
$3,000, one of 3 headlights you could find from Japan. And it's like when you start getting those people, it's. I always think the Volkswagen guys were always the first at it, but
it's like because like now when I look at the RX, it's like I want the R Magic wing. Right. I don't want, but other than that too, like on the other hand, it's like I want to start making my own stuff. Like I want to start like incorporating some like actual like handcrafted pieces into the builds. Like for the RX-8, for instance, I've always had this plan because when you look at the
Gels Magic,
when you look at the Rocket Bunny kit for the RX-8, which is what I originally wanted to go with, but they only made it for the Series 2 RX-8s. They didn't make it for the Series 1 like mine. The front end is a little different. It has like the side skirt extensions and then like the gussets and stuff that go up to the rear quarters and stuff like that. I have a plan to like make my own design of that as well and get them like cut out of like sheet metal and then like powder coated and do stuff like that. Just and like I was thinking for like maybe for like a lip spoil. It's like, okay, well I got a 3D printer. I could like make a mold for like a fiberglass or carbon fiber lip spoilers. I could like print the mold and then like try like my hand at like laying some carbon fiber like fiberglass or something. Just to try it out, because it's like stuff like that. I keep finding myself with like weird ass cars that there's not a ton of stuff out there for.
Sure.
And and just to make it a little bit different. Why not try and do it?
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
I really am going to try and take the cars that are still like in progress and really double down into like the legacy and heritage of their motorsports versions.
I like that.
So like taking the S2000 and really doing a lot of research to figure out what car or where did it participate in, what races was it in, what team had the main sponsors for it, and then take those concepts and apply it to this car. I also want to get way more like hands-on with some of the fabrication of things. Like I want to be able to start cutting up my own parts and pieces and brackets and stuff and learn how to do it and maybe do it wrong, but do it anyway, because I want to get to that level of skill. And next year, I mean, it would be super cool to like do that with an older Ferrari or do that with an older Porsche or do that with an older Nissan and really dive just kind of like head first into it, more from just like I'm going to take this, I'm going to replace it with this, and more say I'm going to create something to make this thing work the way that I want to. Like getting that hood functional and cutting a hole and doing the 3D scanning and doing all like that.
I see how hyped you get about it.
It makes me excited because to me that's like the validation I need personally to be like, okay, I am making progress in understanding how to modify cars, even if I still need to lean on people to help me because I don't have a scanner. But you know, we can build it together. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Absolutely.
for me,
super cool.
what it comes down to too is like I wanna do like learn more than just how to bolt on parts.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to go find a fucking, blown Renesis somewhere and rebuild it.
Yeah.
That would be neat.
I'd love to like just have a general understanding of that like process and just like, I don't know, I just like learning weird shit like that. So.
It's always been cool too because when I do post videos where I'm like trying to learn or trying to do something, the audience is so open to helping in the comment section, which has been awesome to me. When I post videos of me doing like some of the more basic stuff, it's usually like, oh, that looks cool, or yeah, it looks really great, or you should go out and drive it. But when I post a video of me trying to work on the hood of the 430 and I'm like, I just don't understand why this isn't working, the very first comment I'm getting is like, hey, check where you're actually mounting your frame for the actual hinge because it looks like it's too heavyweight. You should put this here and try this out and do this. And I really enjoy that feedback. I love watching people like try to solve the same problem with me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm not a mechanic.
We're
I never
all
was
in
a
it
mechanic.
together.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So that's pretty cool. But hopefully you guys enjoy the builds and the process and where we're at. And if you want to check out, Dakota's stuff, you can obviously go check it out over on the Instagram. And same thing with Gels. Gels is always posting really cool stuff. He's also doing a lot of TikToks, which is a freaking treat. I love seeing all that sort of stuff.
I try my best.
Yeah. So if you guys are still here and you're on YouTube and you're in the progress of building your car, add it over to our build threads over at MartiniWorks.com. It takes like less than 5 minutes. It's a super great way to support what we're trying to do here. And if you're looking for parts or pieces for your car, or if you want to mod your car, mod it at MartiniWorks.com. We just got Fortune out on the website. It means the world for you to check that stuff out. Really appreciate all the love and support on the podcast. I think we're all set for today's episode. And the next time you hear from us, it'll probably be with a little bit more strain in our voice because we're closer to the Gatlinburg.
And we'll have seen the Gran Turismo movie by then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.